Well, good evening, everyone. Here we are. It's the weekly preview show. This week,
Nico, that wasn't it?
Yeah. So he's a bit. He was talking about, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Got Chris with us this week because he's been on comms for the week. Come and say hello in the chat room, mate. We'll come on to a minute, but before we go, we want your suggestions in the chat room now. Who would you like to see play in the live league? We'll touch on it later on, but just giving you all plenty of chance and plenty of opportunity.
Good evening, everyone. Here we are. It's the weekly preview show.
I'll turn the echo off. There we go.
That's better.
That's better.
I want to hear myself twice.
Yeah. We've all been there once or twice.
Yeah.
So let us know in the chat room who you want to see. Good to see you all already. Plenty of you in the chat room, which is good. Can't wait for it. But, Mace, what a week it's been. Monday seems a long, long time ago.
It does actually, yeah. It feels. I mean, this is the end of week 3, and it's just flown by. I mean, I did the opening week, which was just epic. With, we had some great names involved, and then week 2, it was great to see Colin Monk in action, and then week 3, although for 3 days because he had a bit of an upset stomach, Les Wallace. But Les threw some really good stuff at times. It's hard for him. He's been out of the sport. I haven't picked up a dart for a year competitively in any shape, and even just having 10 minutes out there, it feels alien. Never mind being put in this TV room. It was nerve-wracking. I felt for him. I really did feel for him. But day 2, he threw some good stuff. He had some good spells in the scoring phase, and he enjoyed it. That's the main thing. That's what it's all about. Listen, we're not in competition with anybody. We stand alone with this product, and like I said, I don't go and watch a Legends football match or go and watch some Legends snooker stuff and expect to see 40-yard curlers and 147 breaks. It is what it is. We've got a eclectic mix of players that have been there and done it. We've got some players that have just come off the tour, and then we've got this young group of players. Especially this week, we had some real young players that are just starting out in their career, and it's listen. Ask them what they think about it. Like I always say, I always ask my peers. I always ask those superior to me and those involved in what do they think. And they can't wait to come back and have another go. Yeah,
we'll touch on some of the young talent in a minute, but it was, some unbelievable darts in the chat room. How are we all doing? NJ Darts, thank you very much. Mark says, fuzzy picture. It's all right this end, mate. 2 seconds. It's a little bit. I'm not sure what's going on. Leave it with us. We'll
have a look on your what you connected to.
Yeah. Leave it with us, but we'll plow on whilst we do it anyway.
We don't want to see our faces anyway, so
no. But only one place to start.
Yeah.
Which, again, with the magic of technology. This happened.
Hence, this works because it wouldn't if I was doing it.
Going all the way, as short as 1. Going all the way, as short as 1 to 9 in running, James Richardson. But he's the one under pressure now, as Josh will have to throw in leg 7. And that's a fabulous start from the young man. Former world youth champion.
180.
Oh, what a response that is from his father.
140.
Back-to-back 140s in the deciding leg of 7.
180.
Oh my goodness, back-to-back 180s. Well, we've seen 2 9s in last year's Modus League. Seen a couple of 10s. Not seen a 9 yet.
91.
In the Online Darts Live League. Trouble 19. Double 12 for the 9. And he gets the 9. What a way to win the deciding leg for James Richardson, beating his son there with a 9 darter, and our first 9 darter of the new online live league. Well, we're chuffed to bits with that, but probably not as chuffed as James is. Well, we'll take a breath, and we're going to be back in a few moments with Mike Warburton against Colin Osborne.
There we have it. That was special. The first one here in the arena.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but the two players are in the same room, of course, not in their living room, conservatory, or bedroom. It was, it was great to see. Andy's reaction was wonderful, and I did say I'd love to see that. I'd love to see a voiceover with, I think it was on the Fast Show, Competitive Dad. Hold my case, son. It was brilliant. And he played really well on the Monday. Went through the card, didn't he? Unbeaten. Struggled Tuesday and Wednesday. Looked like he was the one that was going to come through to the final automatically and get a couple of days rest. But Mike Warburton had other ideas, and he went through Tuesday and Wednesday 10 out of 10. So he had a nice couple of days off, and James had to come back and battled through again, and was very impressive yesterday.
Yeah, we'll touch on the first part of the week. On Monday, if I'd have said to you Mike Warburton was they going to go 10 unbeaten, you wouldn't have punted on that, because it was a very tight, contested group, and for someone to go 10 unbeaten shows a bit of steel.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen signs. He was involved in a few weeks last year, and he punched in some very, very good numbers. He just lacked a little bit of consistency, but that was the only darts he was playing. He was, there was nowhere else for anybody to play. But he seems to have added a little bit of consistency this year already, and he's been much more solid. I've been really impressed with him. Yeah,
there's the table after 3 days on the screen for everyone now. Warby, only 2 defeats from 3 days. That's
some going. That is some going. I mean, Fallon played okay. I think she has maybe a little bit of burnout. She looked like she'd struggled with a lack of competitive practice early on. But the back end of this week, she did look tired, and it's listen, she got a little boy at home. I'm sure she was missing him, and probably glad to get home in the end. But yeah, it was tough going for Fallon, but she'll have a week or so off and come back. And trust me, she's just had a little bit of a poor week by her standards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I say that with the utmost respect by her standards, but yeah, she's fine.
Yeah, so Mike Warburton going through automatically, James and Fallon going through to the evening section, and then Colin, Josh, and obviously would have been Les, but not very well, so Jenks came in going through. Colin, obviously we'll come on to in a minute, got better and better as the week went on, and we saw some vintage Wizard towards the end of the week.
Yeah, at times he was as good as he's ever been. He was a championship League of Darts winner, which was a grueling event back in the day. I not only played in it, but I also worked in the production part of it. Actually, did some commentary and did some spotting with Richard Ashdown, and it was just intense. And that was the one where we had back-to-back boards in a silent room going at the same time. And he won that, beating Phil in the process. So, I mean, he's sort of, he's fit and healthy. He's got a full-time job where it's a lot of hours. And I thought he looked okay. The throw, he didn't look particularly confident on day one, performed okay. And then, as you said, he just slowly got better and more confident. And towards the back end of the week, he was throwing in some, and it wasn't just a one-off. He was hitting back-to-back, mid to late 90 averages. And a lot of the time, he was only having one leg which is, you don't necessarily lose your scoring. It's the finishing, and he's just started to chase a few doubles around. And of course, one leg can affect an average in a best of 7, but it doesn't mean it was a bad performance. You can end up with an 89 average, but 3 of those 4 legs, you were averaging, in excess of a ton. So yeah, I was impressed. He's going to be very, very dangerous tonight.
Yeah, and then from there, is this the right one? The evening one. This is the first day. James Richardson came in and did what he did to do. There's one name on there that coming into it, I didn't know a lot about, if I'm honest. We'll get the overall one up here as well, was Lee Cocks. I didn't know an awful lot about him. But
a few people got sort of reached out to me on Facebook and said, like, well, I think I spoke to his brother doing one of my lives that I do to preview the day sessions and the night sessions. So I sort of had a little bit of digging about, and ironically, I pretty much wound up my county darts at London. He's from Kent, but played with a few lads that played Super League, used to be the designated driver, and then they were short and he got thrown in, and the rest is history. So he's got literally his only experience is Super League and county, going in to Q School a couple of years ago. Obviously played a few opens, but in terms of experience at sort of a mid-level, he's got absolutely none. And I didn't know what to expect. And I have to say, the first I looked at him, I wasn't quite sure about the throw. But again, you can't judge a book by its cover. And like Colin, the more he played, the more he enjoyed it, the more confident he got. And yeah, well, there was two there I didn't really expect. I know Ben Hazel had a good run at the Worlds, the last one at the O2, reached last 16, beat Gary Robson in the last 32. So obviously he's no mug. But yeah, he had a ropey start to session one, and then won the games at the right times. He had a couple of 4-3s. He looks sharp on his doubles. When he's good, he's like most players. The reason a lot of players sort of who are in the process of trying to maybe turn pro or take their games to the next level or try and qualify for a World Masters or a World Championships is their B games. They've all got a great A game. Where they get found out is in their B game. And we've seen that with a lot of players. James Richardson included. Listen, his A game is up there with anybody we've seen playing in the live leagues. But it's working on a reliable B game that allows you to win scruffy games. James Wade being the absolute ultimate example. He might not feel his best, or he might not be playing best, but he will find a way.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, we're working on the picture. For some reason, one Wi-Fi signal's good and the other one's telling me it's not, but we're on the same one. But leave it with us. We're working as we're going here, but you can hear us, which is the important thing.
Think of it as a podcast.
Yeah, we're working on it. Moving on to tonight. First of all, here's the bracket of how everyone got there, so everyone can see on screen, and so it kind of makes a little bit of sense. The winners of Group A, Group B, and Group C. But from there, Mace, we have tonight's fixtures. First of all, which ones stand out, and which ones do you think will decide tonight's title?
Well, it's one of those that the more I look at it, the more I change my mind. I think it's hard to look past Warby because of that 10-game run, but he's up against a completely different group of players, and he himself now has not played for 2.5 days. Will that play into his hands? Will fatigue be a major part of it? I'm not so sure. It's imperative. I don't think anybody who loses their opening game will go on to win it. Let's put it that way, because I think momentum and confidence is going to play a huge part tonight. A lot of the players won't know anything about the other players, which is great. All they would have seen is what we've seen by watching it online or if you watch it by a bookmaker. I don't know. Would I make favourite? Probably just about Warby, then Osborne, Richardson, and then Cox, and then probably Ben Hazel, something like that. But listen, it's all about the start. It's a real short. It's best of 7, which is a nice format. But you only got 4 matches tonight because it's just the best 5 from the week.
Yeah, no, 100%. And one name I'm going to throw in there that has got better and better, and he's played all the time, is Colin Osborne. I think he's the dark horse.
Yeah, we both, obviously we spent an hour having a chat before we started this, and yeah, we were both umming and ahhing, but there's a lot to like about Colin, and he's won at a high level, made the final of the UK Open, gone deep in loads of other tournaments, and although he's he won that Champions League of Darts. And ranking events, of course, but he's one that really underachieved. Super talented. One of them annoying people that's good at everything. Frustratingly. But he doesn't looks why, and he's looked after himself. And listen, he's 45, which is no age in this game. We've seen that from Wolfie, 64 in 9 darters and 105 averages. So yeah, and maybe just something like this could be, like when we seen Richie in week 2, something like this can give them that, that little. Even me, I'm loving it. Makes me think about picking my darts up. And for them guys that are still relatively active, it's a great opportunity, and they might get the taste back for it. I certainly think we'll see a little bit more Colin, and so much more. People have an opportunity to play within that system. They've now hooked up with the new UK Darts Association, which is the new county system. So everything could amalgamate and gel together. It's just a great time for that next tier down. Professional darts, the Challenge Tour, the kids stuff, the JDC. That's all everything's catered for. But where are you going to get your TV experience? Well, this is as much as a TV studio as you're ever going to play, and there's cameras everywhere. It's got that feel, even when you walk in here.
It's like a stream board at the Pro Tour.
Yeah, exactly that, and that's a great starting place for a lot of players.
Yeah, 100%. If you were having 20 pence on tonight, where would it go?
I don't want to jinx, because you know how much of a jinx I am. I'm absolutely deadly for it. I'm going to go Warby. I'm going to go a little bit left field. I'm going to go Warby.
I'm going Osborne.
Yeah, I mean, my with all due respect, it's just that Colin Osborne, the most experienced player. James has been there, seen it, done it, beat Barney 3-0 at the Worlds, played in World Championships, met multiple World Championships, reached the last 16 of the Worlds, 2018, only 3 years ago. Colin Osborne was so much experience. So yeah, experience might play its part, but it could all be down to all on the night. Yeah,
and now we can reveal next week. Everyone's like, who's playing next week? Who's playing next week? So Monday to Wednesday, technical. We've got
Nico's taking you through all this.
Yeah, Nico's taking. So Monday to Wednesday, we have got Jamie Lewis, Fireball is in the house. Keelan Kay, Bradley Kirk, Sean McDonald, Matty Dennant, and the Wolf returns.
I'm pleased to see Matty getting another go.
Yeah.
Because he didn't do himself justice over the last couple of days, but he's one that's really suffered because his dad has a pub, so he's used to constantly playing darts, whether it be on the Challenge Tour or local tournaments or Super League, and he's got one of them type of throws that he has to constantly be active. So he's had a couple of days this week. He's had a little bit of a taster. I'm sure he'll have a couple of hours over the weekend, and he will go close. But the man to beat is Wolfie, of course.
Yeah. Of course, Keelan Kay in spells. Yeah. It's showing some. He reminds me of Michael Smith in terms of his throw. That it's very slingy and very loose.
You can listen to my commentary. Come on.
No, I'm not allowed to there, am I?
Oh, no,
not allowed to. It's very when it's on, it's on. But when it's loose, it's loose.
It's any attention in it, it will break down, like most fast players throw as well.
Yeah.
But listen, he's a 19-year-old kid. Let's have it right. He's a big kid.
Yeah.
But
he
will evolve, and we've seen that in the summer when he was sort of dead and buried in the league and dead and buried in matches. All of a sudden, he opens his shoulders and he was reeling off 12 and 13 darters. So for him, this is what a great education to have. And on a day with Martin Adams in the group as well. It's just great for him.
I think on this that he gave up his
tour card.
PDC tour card to go and play.
I remember Dean.
Lakeside. I might be wrong with him, but I'm thinking
I remember Dean Reynolds did. I think pretty sure Dean Reynolds won the Challenge Tour.
Yeah, or Bradley might have done the same, or he gave up something because he wanted to go and play at Lakeside.
Yeah, he wanted to stay BDO for a little bit longer. So obviously has got some talent. If he was anywhere near a tour card, he's got to have a bit of talent. no doubt will get put right by the.
Yeah, 100%.
Really.
Sorry, we're fixing guys, but we're going to plough on regardless because we're here now.
We ain't got time to mess about. If
No.
we switch it all off, we've got to find you all again.
Yeah, and then coming in once we split, so Thursday and Friday mornings, Kevin Burness,
And he's the
Stephen,
guy that won the Tom
Tom
Kirby
Kirby.
match play.
and
And he also
beat Nico in the
beat Nico
Well,
and was that was an incredible run. Sorry to completely go off on a tangent. Nico will talk about it next Saturday. But he lost to Kevin Burness, but that wasn't the issue. He still had his tour card.
the chain of results.
So the chain of results with Devon Peterson winning when he was a face match.
Bands
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
Gezi or Ian White, it was someone, but just the whole. I remember ticking them off.
I think it was a run of 3 results after that,
Yeah,
which meant he lost his tour card.
yeah.
But yeah, he can play Kevin Burness, that's for sure.
Stephen Burton, man
Yeah.
we saw on the live read last year, and as well as done bits and bobs at the
UK Open.
UK Open and Players Championship
Yeah.
finals as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And Dave Parletti, again, a man that we saw at the Grand Slam and at the O2.
Yes, yeah, he's another one that's slowly making sort of baby steps, and another one that will benefit from this. I mean, as we know, this isn't just sort of around because of lockdown. Hence we've jumped through hoops to get it to the people behind the scenes have jumped through hoops to get it to this stage. So you imagine, when everything does return and they're maybe making their debut at World Masters or they got a big TV tournament. What a great opportunity to play in, and Dave Parletti is going to be one of them.
And then into Thursday and Friday evening, we've got Darren Beveridge, Jamie Clark, and Greg Ritchie.
Yeah, Greg Ritchie's the young Scottish lad, isn't he?
Yeah, we're really unlucky with Q score, failed the COVID test.
Yeah, probably didn't. I would have had another one, but there you go.
Yeah, well, it just says it all that he passed one in 24 hours.
Yeah, didn't take.
But no, again, a lot of people fancied him to go deep into
Yeah,
this
but
so.
I mean, I hear a lot of whispers. I mean, my main focus, of course, is basically the 128 players on the Pro Tour and TV darts. I don't get the opportunity to go and watch the Challenge or Development Tour because obviously I'm not management, and obviously in recent times with COVID, I've just not been able to go and watch. But yeah, I've heard a lot of good whispers about it.
Yeah, good looking.
Yeah,
good looking
again, it's a mix of players. It is what it is. We want, this is a conscious decision to try as many players as we can and get as many players involved as we can. And like the beauty of everything, if I don't like a TV program, I switch it off. I don't spend my life complaining about something that I don't care about.
Yeah.
What a sad little life you've got if that's all you've got in your life is to moan about something that you're not forced to watch. As we live in a real strange world nowadays, but there you go.
Yeah, right. We're going to jump into the chat room here and see what names you guys have given us. So where are we? Dave Whitcomb.
Ooh, Larry Butler might be a bit awkward with travel restrictions. We've not forgot about our European darting and not just European, but
until the travel corridors open up, it's a little bit difficult.
Yes.
Bob Anderson, good call. The best 180 celebration in darts.
Yeah. So Josh Richardson had a bit of the Bob Anderson snarl. He just needs to get that point going. But yeah I'm sure Bob will.
Jamie Lewis, your wishes are command.
Yeah, that's scary.
We can we
About the fuzzy picture, everybody. So don't worry.
Yeah.
Richie Lambchop Davis. Well, I did come up with an idea last week of a Welsh week.
Yeah.
Maybe Chrissy Johns, Peter Locke, Jamie Lewis, Richie Burnett, Webby, Richie Davis.
Yeah.
Maybe see if Sean or Wayne Palfrey's still playing.
Does Chalky still play?
Jamie's dad.
Yeah.
Can you still say that nowadays?
Well, it's just name on Twitter.
No, he was a really.
That's what I mean.
He was a really good player.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew Jamie when he was a little boy, of course. I played darts with his dad. Marshall James, yeah, there's another one.
Yeah.
We could definitely. I think that would go really well. And the cracking year would be.
Who else have we got? Like Trina, Laura, and Anna. Again,
well, we want to do. We were just talking about this. We want to do a ladies' week, but the powers that be would have to ask Matt and Barry. We couldn't do a ladies' week without Lisa. I just don't. The ladies' game is so big right now to probably have, if not the most in terms of success in the PDC, outside of fun getting to the 32 in the world. We split it. We could do a Monday to Wednesday something, and then do a ladies' week. But we've definitely got enough quality with the women.
Yeah, so it's something that is on the horizon. Tony O'Shea, yeah. Again, I think he had been asked, but I believe he had statements that he couldn't get out to start with. On John Boy Walton. Yeah, it's
another one. Well, again, we want to do a Lakeside Legends one. So that would be epic to get John Walton in.
Terry Jenkins,
Jenkins, yeah. Well, we've reached out to Terry. I reached out to his boy, so I'm hoping to.
Yeah, it's been there. Ronnie Sharp,
Pancho.
Nope, still there. The Viking. I don't know. No. COVID, didn't he?
He did have COVID.
So I don't know what's.
He's on the mend.
Shane McGurk. Yeah. Again, I think contact has been made. Gavin Carlin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, all good names. Keep them coming. Jamie Lewis. Yeah, we've said him.
Jamie's in next week.
Jamie's in. Kevin Payne, Dean Winstanley.
Does Roland Jones still play darts? I don't think so. He works for basically the equivalent. I work for ITV. He works for the equivalent in Holland, RTL7.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think he does. Ted Hankey.
Chris Mason versus
Paul Nicholson pay-per-view.
Well, it'll be all right. Right, he's injured and sort of half crippled. That might level things up a bit. I might have a chance.
Saying last week that he's down for 3 ops this year.
Yeah, he's got to have them one after another.
Yeah,
because they're all different areas.
One puts the other one.
Well, one being broken, he was told not to play. I think.
Yeah.
It's caused the other problem, and then of course he loves golf, doesn't he?
Yeah. So
that's probably contributed.
Yeah. So
Ted Hankey, another one.
Yeah. Don't worry, Nico. We'll be back to full health, and I think he'll chuck him again.
And listen, mate, he gets some stick, but he's a major winner. So
I was about to say that.
You can say what you like, and he did it the hard way.
Anyone that wins a major that beats
Taylor
and
beats the governor en route, and beat a very good Murphy in the final.
100%.
So yeah, listen, major winner, represented Australia, played in the World Cup, played in Grand Slams, gone in deep in loads of tournaments. But he is Marmite, but so aren't we all?
Dennis Ovens.
Yeah.
The Heat.
The
original Heat.
I mentioned him last week. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Dennis in it. I bet he could still throw a decent dart. You got one of them kind of throws, Mark Walsh. Colin Lloyd, he still plays, still do some was doing exhibitions with Colin before lockdown. So
I believe Jim Williams is also on the list coming up as well. I think he's later on.
Oh yeah, another Welsh one.
Yeah.
Jim Williams, Wayne Warren. We could have an amazing Welsh week.
Yeah, 100%.
I think I noted down 12, including Wayne and Jim.
Well, I believe Wayne put on Twitter that he's down to come.
Yes,
I'm sure I saw him on Twitter saying he was in for one of the later weeks.
I think they've reached out to Wayne. Big Wayne Mardle. No, we're all right, thanks.
He wouldn't do it, would he?
No, he'd demand 4 figures a day or something. So.
Christian Kist, that's a good call when travel opens up.
Christian Kist. Yeah, if we did like a Lakeside Legend, because he's obviously a winner.
Yeah.
Cammy Menzies, I think we've reached out to Cammy.
Cammy's in. Don't worry, the mad box of frogs is on the list.
Mike Gregory, depending on his health, of course, because he did have cancer, bless him. I did see him a couple of years ago when he was on the mend. I've not actually touched base. I should contact Mike and see how he is. Frampton Herring tonight. Herring, mate. They've got that all wrong. I love Carl Frampton to be 34, been in too many wars. Herring is absolutely all wrong for him. Bobby George, if he
could do it, it would be amazing.
If he could do it, it would be good. I'm not sure you could
I don't know. I don't think you can do the time.
No.
The amount of games you have to play in here.
And in the last couple of years, he's had 2 brand new knees, hasn't he?
And we turn the mic off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because or play at 12. Marshall James, not sure about Marshall if he still plays. I think he does.
Yeah.
Last I heard, he was still playing. So yeah, he's another one that could come in for the Welsh week.
Yeah. Steve
Mark
Beaton.
Williams. Yeah.
Steve Beaton can't because he's got a tour card.
Yeah.
So because it's streamed, he's not allowed to. Yeah. No. Yeah. Mark Williams would be a good chat. He's a good player.
He's good. He's frighteningly good.
Yeah.
He actually wanted to challenge me to a bit of a match, which I declined.
That was at the snooker, wasn't it? That was at the fishing, wasn't it? Yeah.
I said, no, you're all
No,
right.
you're right. You're fine.
When I was watching him not go out in 12 darts sort of with regularity.
Good chat. Dennis Smith.
Yeah.
Smithy.
Dennis Smith.
I remember. Sorry about Dennis Smith. We were short for a Super League game once, and we just happened to bring him in. He just casually averaged 34 a dart.
Yeah. Back in the day. Yes.
Yeah, because Phil sponsored him for a bit, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, Nick Fulwell. That's
Yeah.
definitely a name I'd like to see involved. Yeah. Anastasia. Although Tony's got to be a little bit more quiet. Who's playing next week? I'll let.
So, we touched on it earlier, but here it is for you. Monday to Wednesday, Jamie Lewis, Keelan Kay, Bradley Kirk, Sean McDonald, Matty Dennett, Martin Adams. And then when we split, Kevin Burness, Stephen Burton, Dave Parletti, Aaron Berridge, Jamie, Greg Ritchie.
There's a few interesting names there. Terry Jenkins, yeah, we've touched base. It's not to bring anybody out of retirement. It's for them to come and enjoy some darts and for you to enjoy. Andy Calaby, yeah, there's a shout if he still plays. The drunk Asian bloke that played at the Lakeside. There's been a few, but he's actually gone on to do really well. Sada.
Yeah.
How about the Australian guy who played Martin? Anthony.
Was it the Danish guy that put 2 in the treble 20, then gave it the big one like that before he even threw the third one?
Went nowhere near. Alan's. Yeah, Rob. I think he's working, so I think he's okay.
Yeah, I just didn't know because he didn't go to Q school, did he?
No.
So I didn't know how it was.
I think he's okay. Trina Gulliver, not sure about Trina. Tony David, unfortunately, he's waiting for another transplant. I speak to Tony a lot, bless him. It's the last one he's had's not worked, so he's got to go in for another one.
Gilding, good chat.
Andrew Gilding. Is it wide enough? The hockey?
I had to put a hole in the...
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Some good names here, guys. Liking this. This is good work.
That's what we want. But basically, we're going to pass this on to our bosses and make a note of all the names you've come up with, because there has been some great names.
Yeah, no, 100%. Some other news also broke today, mate.
Yeah.
We did well to keep...
You did do well.
To keep that.
But that's why we get told secrets, you see, because we can keep them.
You only get told secrets if you can keep them. The Seniors World Championship for 2022 headlined the Pals coming out of retirement.
Well, I'm not sure he's coming out of retirement. He's just been tempted out with the prospect of pinching a vast amount of that 50 grand prize money. I don't trust me. I've seen that nonsense. I mean, the guys are like over 10 million, and God knows how many £1 million worth of properties he has. He's very comfortable. So yeah, it's something that's been in the making. I've always championed the idea. I've always thought, well, you come to all the exhibitions we do. You know how well the legends are received, and it's going to be good. I'd like to see more people in it, but of course,
it'll grow in time and everything like that.
It's got to start small because of the cost involved. But yeah, I absolutely love it. They were players from as a child, there were players that were, a lot of them friends of my dad's, and sort of players that I grew up around, and then players I then went on to play on the tour with for many, many years. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be absolutely epic. I know I think they picked 12 names out already, haven't they, or 10?
Yeah, and there's obviously going to be.
I think it's going to be 16.
And some qualifying spots.
Yeah.
Kind of, which is.
Yeah, and they're working on it. It will be on TV because, listen, the interest across social media. Yeah.
The noise today, I had to turn notifications off on my phone.
Exactly.
It was just like ping, 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 ping.
That's
ping,
all
ping,
I had.
ping.
I had to turn it off.
Yeah, it was just absolutely.
Mark Durbridge, definitely.
Yeah, Suzuki as well. That when they come over for potentially the ladies series and whatever. Hopefully we can tag it on the end of it because there's no point getting her over here
No.
for a week. So it has to be when
with all the travel restrictions when she does come over
for whatever it may be. But yes, that is in the mix. Mark says Cheeseman. Are you talking about Cheeseman that was at Q School? Because if so, after some of the stories, I'm not quite so sure.
No. we're not having Ted Cheeseman. He's a little bit rough for this.
His face is still out here. But what a scrap that was. So yeah, but going back to the seniors, this gives them all something, that little bit, that tingle again in the fingers. And
yeah, I think for I think a senior world championships is not. I mean, they're just the ones that won. But, I've always followed Jason Francis that does the snooker, which is who's working alongside Jason from Modus. So I love the snooker one because it's people like Darren Morgan who I think he made a world semi, and then Nigel Bond who I think he made a world final, didn't he? He lost to Hendry. But you had a great mix of players that were around in a real tough era that didn't quite make it.
Yeah.
But stayed on the tour for 10, 15, some of them 20 years. Joe Johnson, of course, players like that. So it would automatically work with the darts because very much like snooker, it's not particularly strenuous, and even people like Dennis Priestley, now that he actually has a goal and something to aim for, he will practice.
And like you say, it starts that size.
Well, the World Senior Snookers did, didn't it? It started very small.
Well, look at the PDC.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it wasn't this great big juggernaut.
No, there was about 30 of us.
Well, that first World Championship, literally, if you could pick up a dart, you got an invite to round one. And I don't mean that disrespectful.
Yeah, no, but the thing was, the American, well, the North American,
they had to fill those places.
They reached out. They didn't care about. Well, they weren't affected by the media that were put out at the time. So, which is why we continued to go out there for so many years and stage tournaments out there because they were very supportive in the early stages.
Yeah. Darts Olympic sport. Can't see it somehow.
No.
What's Bradley Kirk like for 180s? Don't know, but can't the Hampshire darts stats because he's played in them, so you should be able to find something there. Like I say, don't know off the top of my head yet. John Lowe,
Lowe's in the seniors.
Could have him and Bobby in the same room, could you? Oh,
that would be like again. Mike's off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited. I asked involved in the broadcasting side of it, and as a qualifier, definitely contemplate it. That's for sure. I think I'd have a better. I still probably have no chance of beating Taylor, but I think I'd probably have a better chance now than 20 years ago when he was murdering me with 113 averages. But I mean, it would. Yeah, I as long as I'm involved in some capacity, of course. I mean, I'm an historian, and that era was something that I absolutely adore. I'd love to do it with someone like Gwynny. You imagine getting Gwynny back for something like this because his knowledge of that era. It won't be. I think I know it's going to be. I can't say that, but it's amazing. I think it just fits perfect with Gwynny. It's Gwynny's era. Gwynny knows that was my era of what I studied, and they were the players that I analysed and watched and went all over the country watching as a kid. And obviously, a lot of them were friends of my parents, and I'd find them in my living room when I come up. It's exciting. It's just really exciting. And darts is one of those sports that have just managed to almost grow where in a time where most other sports suffered. Stood still. Yeah. Listen, the PDC have always evolved, and that's one thing you've got to say about what we did. We were the first people to actually do split screens and this kind of thing, making it as interactive as possible, making sure people feel like they're part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Mind you, this whole announcement was obviously brought forward probably a couple of weeks because when Phil signed his new new deal with
Target.
Target. He kind of let the cat out of the bag that he was practicing again for something. It was like,
Yeah, I think he almost forced their hand, but I think they more or less had everything
it was all done and dusted. It was
Yeah.
just obviously just brought forward a little bit, wasn't it? Because of
Well,
Phil gets excited.
yeah, he couldn't wait to tell the world, I suppose.
Yeah.
But,
New deal, new darts, and now I'm going to go and play in this.
yeah, and I'm going to try and be a senior world champion, which, listen, he's nailed on favourite for a reason. He was winning majors 4 years ago, but he's going to have his hands full.
Yeah, certain Wolf.
Yeah, I think some of the darts Martin's thrown, and he played him, didn't he? And he played him last year, although it was in slightly different environment and circumstances. But I can see Dennis Priestley coming back and playing well. Bob Anderson, Keith Deller, Richie Burnett. I mean, I've seen 6 months that tell.
100 averaging here.
Exactly. So he can still play.
Yeah, someone asked about the TV coverage. That nothing's confirmed yet, but they are speaking to numerous broadcasters, and there's too much noise around for it not to be on.
Yeah, well, they're in a great position because they can almost tender for it, can't they? They're in a great spot commercially, and of course, the people involved in it know what they're doing with this kind of thing, so it can't not but work.
Yeah. Live lounge tomorrow. Yes, we are going to do a live lounge on Easter. No, the rules. We're just going to sort out times, but we'll let you know.
You're going to go on before it?
I'm going to do it Sunday instead.
Right.
We're not even going to follow because
it's only for a couple of weeks. Anyway.
Yeah, so we're going to do it Sunday.
But it's ideal for Thursday and Friday and Saturday because that's usually over by about 9:30, and
straight into this.
You can flick straight over and watch us.
Yeah. Scottish Lad says, "What do you think of darts YouTube scene blowing up like the way it is?" It's always been there. People.
But we discussed this probably about 2 years ago. Obviously, we're involved in the broadcast side of things, and we see a lot behind the scenes. And the beauty of you lot watching this now gives us a certain numbers, allows us to find the analytics, how long you stay for. Often we can work out the average age of the viewers, and the way people watch, whether it be sport or Netflix or anything else. The days of scrolling down through channels on the TV are.
Eddie likes the zone.
Yeah, exactly that. Their model works on big numbers at low prices rather than numbers at big price. Of course, commercially that works hand in hand. If you're broadcasting to 300,000 people, paying £10 or 100,000. Paying £30, you know what I mean? It's all about getting a bigger audience.
Yeah, so it's always been there. It's a good thing that there's some things I like about darts YouTube, there's some things I dislike. But that's like the same as anything. There's some films I like, some films I dislike.
Listen, there's what I like, what I don't like. Online darts TV. Does the winner get online league win any? Yeah, everybody's surprised. Yeah, of course, it's money. they're not. They need rewarding. They need paying.
Yeah. Don't ask me what that's between the players and
the
whatever. Don't get involved in any of that.
Is there any chance to get Phil into the Moguls League? Probably when he wants a warm up before the World Seniors. I'm sure he'll make him available for that.
Yeah. Shane Burgess, is he?
Yeah, Shane. I've tried to get hold of Shane, or I've tried to get his number off somebody. Because Shane still plays. He'd be ideal.
Yeah, Jake, hi mate. Hope you are well. A lot of darts busters. Yeah, well, to be fair, I'll tell mates, we've got a great idea. The OD Dome.
Yeah,
will be coming very soon.
The OD Mobile Dome. Yeah.
All to be revealed certainly, but when this is done, this is going to be absolutely genius.
It's going to be the best place to be interviewed.
Yeah, the OD Dome, Burnett box office, 100%. So we've got 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Premier League. Premier League.
Dave Askew and Jason Askew and Josh Richardson and James Richardson in the same group. Who's the, and then Aaron Monk and Colin Monk.
Jason Askew wins. Premier League
Yeah.
on the horizon now with a lot of chat about.
They're making a lot of noise, isn't they? They've got a lot to say for themselves.
Great, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, everybody used to be so quiet and just sort of, oh, I'm just so grateful to be involved. And
Just want to play darts.
yeah, I just want to play darts. So like, oh, he ain't going to win this. He ain't doing that. He can't do this. It's nice to see him coming out of the shell. It's nice to see. It's nice to see them being real.
Well, this is what a lot of people don't get. We see this week in, week out.
Yeah.
Because this happens backstage all the time.
Yeah.
But in front of the camera, well, yeah. But now, it's like, hang on a minute. Let's just.
Yeah, well, you know, obviously we want them. They need to be, you know, no, not role models, but a good example, I suppose. And they're representing, you know, brands and products and everything else. They've got to be, but there's no reason why they can't. You know, there's no reason why they can't be themselves.
100%.
As long as they're not rude and they say how they speak, how they feel.
Nothing wrong with it at all.
Nothing wrong with it at all. I think some people it works for. I don't particularly think playing mind games with Michael works, because that always backfires. But yeah, listen, it's good, but don't backtrack. Don't backtrack. That's not a good look. If you mean something, say it. If you don't mean it, don't say it in the first place.
So I have to say, Michael looked good in the interview the other day. Lost a bit of weight, looked good on the face. And we've seen signs that I think someone's going to get pumped over the next 5 days.
Yeah, I spent a fair bit of time with him, Milton Keynes, because obviously we were all in the bubble there, bubble life, back into bubble life, out of bubble life tonight at 12:30, and then a long drive home. Yeah, and you know we don't often get, you know, back when I was playing, we'd sit in a group and we'd have, you know, we'd chat a lot, and of course I was playing when Michael was really going through his problems. I knew Michael when he was 14.
Yeah.
I played him in a final when he was 15 in a big tournament in Holland, and only just about. I was laughing at Merv because Merv got pumped by him in the semi-final, and I was like, well, I got to play a 14-year-old kid in the final, and he went. I only just about won, and then, you know, I watched him literally just explode onto the scene, win the Masters, you know, the 9 darters in the IDL or whichever one it was in Holland. And then I watched him go through a phase where he couldn't win a game. And although Michael might come across sometimes that he doesn't remember those times, when you sit down and talk to him, he there's no one who works harder, and there's no one more appreciative of where he is now. I remember when he had no money, and he was like,
Went back to Thailand with Harold.
exactly, yeah, he was in desperate trouble. And when you speak to him and we have a laugh and a joke, because I can't really take the piss too much, can I? He's gone on and dominated a sport that I couldn't get anywhere near. But he doesn't forget that. And Michael will wind down on his terms. I don't see him playing on into his 40s. He has nothing else to prove. He is financially secure for life. This is all about legacy. This is all about his own legacy, which is why, you know, he works on those tiny percentages. Unfortunately for him, the game has continued to evolve, and we now have a group of players, a bigger group of players, more than ever, that are all capable of averaging in excess of 100. And when you have that stable or that group of players, it's almost impossible to dominate the sport now. It won't be dominated. You know, it's been taken to its limits for me. You know, although the boards have got bigger, I'd like to see them. It wouldn't work commercially to make them smaller, but you're now rewarded for making the fewer mistakes.
Yeah.
Because it's so level, and we the example of that keeps cropping up with Dimitri, with De Souza, with Glenn, with Gezi Price, with Peter Wright winning his first Worlds at 49. You know, the list is endless. Luke Humphries, you know, all the young fellas going deep into the Worlds, and then, you know, making finals of the UK Open. James Wade, you know what I mean? He's, you know, not everyone's cup of tea, but, you know, I was sort of around somewhere near playing some other time when he was, you know, just starting to arrive, and he's still going strong and winning majors now. I mean, it's
majors over 3 decades.
Majors over 3 decades, you know, and the only other person you think about doing that sort of thing was John Lowe, because he won 3 worlds in 3 different decades, 70s, 80s, and 90s. But unfortunately for James, he sometimes doesn't do himself any favours. But again, that's James. He shoots from the hip. He can't, you know, I can understand his frustration of not being in the Premier League, going back to the Premier League. We did go off on a tangent. But yeah, for me, half the field are mentally not in a good place. Relevant of darts, their confidence doesn't look shot would be a bit bloody dramatic, but they're searching for confidence, and dart players play on confidence. You know, they as I said, 10 players there, all capable of beating each other. That's proven. All capable of hitting 110 averages. That's proven. So now it boils down to who's mentally stronger and who's in form. Some of the players in there, Gary Anderson going into it, none whatsoever, right? But Gary, as we've seen, 2 or 3 days into one of these things, and he goes, plunk, and it just drops back. That's how naturally it is.
He's the anomaly to anything. You teach kids, you need to practice, you need to do this, you need to do that. Gary, you picked up a dart? Nah.
Yeah. Just look at Gary's throw and his attitude, follow that bit, and follow the work ethics of a Michael Smith or a Michael Van Gerwen. And then you're somewhere in the middle. Glenn Durran, again, you know, it's amazing to think that, you know, a year ago going into this, we were like, well, I wonder if he's ready for the Premier League, which is a bit ridiculous considering what he's won. Didn't prove me. You know, I don't care where you win. If you're a winner, you're a winner. And he's got that insane ability, very much like James Wade, where he can win spectacularly, or he can
doesn't care if he wins over.
No, he can. He's great. He's a grinder, and a fabulous player. And I hope he's coming through the. You know, he fiddled with his darts. He was listening. He was listening to people I certainly wouldn't take advice from. He needs to go back to having the around him that were around him when he was doing well. You know, just listen to himself and play how he used to play, with a bit of freedom, a bit of fire, and play without fear, because that was the one thing that he stood out when he joined the PDC. He played without fear, and reputation meant nothing. He's got his own big reputation. You know, he's achieved huge amounts in the sport, and you know, if there was any question about, you know, could he do it? How will he get on? Well, you know, that's done and dusted now. Now again, it's up to him. You know, it's all about, again, his legacy is done, but he wants to do more. And in my opinion, he will do more. He just got to get rid of certain things in his own head and just focus on what works for him, and ignore everything. Go back to how it was.
Which is what he's done, which I think we'll see.
Yeah, well, you can overcomplicate things quite easily. And I mean, that first game on Monday night against Nathan Aspinall was huge for both.
Yeah.
Because that is 9 days on the spin, isn't it?
No,
well,
five
2 days.
week off.
Oh, right.
Back for another 4.
Right. Yeah, that first 5.
Yeah, it's
huge. That will map out for me the rest of it, I think.
Yeah. Some good questions here. Harry says, any chance of the finals day on Saturday morning? No, mate. It's set. Is what it is.
What final? This,
yeah.
No, because obviously we go out all makers. Literally, well, I think 99% of them. So obviously they pay for broadcasting rights for, could be horse racing from Australia, could be rugby.
Premier League football starts at 12 on a Saturday now.
Exactly, yeah.
Like that.
So you got the morning line, you got everything, all these other products that go out at certain times. So our product has to fit in amongst that schedule.
Yeah. What do you think of Lou Williams? I don't know him personally, but what I've seen looks a hell of a talent.
You can play.
Yeah, that's something I've seen. I don't know him personally.
No,
because he's only just on tour for the first year, but it looks.
Yeah, looking at his numbers on Dark Connect. My goodness.
When do you think the development tour and challenge tour will start? I think as long as
September.
Yeah, August, September. I think. Look, I think as long as everything goes according to Boris's roadmap.
Well, it's the summer, so it'd be disappearing.
Yeah.
Like last summer, without a vaccine.
Yeah, had to help out. Yeah, look, I think August, September we'll see.
Do you guys think that Peter Wright sticks to one set of darts, he would win more tournaments?
Yeah, if he sticks to the straight barrel, either the diamond one or the World Championship, or the World Championship dart, he wins.
Yeah, with the normal setup, with the stem and the fly. If you take a sample of his averages with those using those darts, and then you put all the other ones where he's used other things together, it's night and day.
100%.
It's ridiculous.
100%. The diamond dart and the World Championship dart are his best two by a.
What about mixed doubles matches from Modus? Not sure. How'd you pick
Yeah,
it?
that's tough.
Chris, who do you reckon is a better player, Terry Jenkins or Kevin Painter? Terry Jenkins.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Not by a lot, but,
No.
but yeah, I mean, must be 9 major finals.
Yeah.
You know, I know Kevin did win the Players' Championship, so that sort of gives him the edge in that department. And both had great longevity. But yeah, it's a coin toss. It's what you like. Yeah, just about side with Terry, I think.
Well, guys, we've done our hour.
Done our hour.
Absolute pleasure having you on board. Again, make sure you please subscribe now. Turn notifications on. Mace will be live at 9:30, bringing in home. Who wins? We don't know. We've given our predictions, who we think, but 9:30 live on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, turn notifications on, and we will see you then. But it's been a great hour. Thank you all for being on board with us, and we will see you all in a few hours. We're going to do the Nico salute.